happy day 2. I am super excited to be doing this day 2 of designing a new feature for Doordash. Woo! If you were here yesterday, please let me know. And if today is your first day with me, totally cool. Just let me know as well so I can get a feeling for where you guys are at. I am totally going to be doing a recap of yesterday, so you will feel comfortable if you were not here yesterday. So no worries at all. And let's show you the schedule for the day. So obviously it's here with me, 7:30, getting started in Adobe XD, and then 9 a.m. Photoshop, Daily Creative Challenge, 9:30 Drawing and Painting, 11:30 Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, 12 p.m. Video Editing, 2 p.m. Daily Creative Challenge for XD, and then 2:30 Design in the Dark. Yes. All right. So I was able to do that a lot better today than yesterday with the schedule. I was struggling. This morning I was already awake before my alarm came off. So I feel a little bit more ready to start this morning. Let me know what your time zone is. And if you're just joining, let me know if you joined from yesterday or if today is your first day. Amy says she's here from yesterday. Welcome, Amy. Good to see you again. Awesome. Yeah, so who am I? I'm Elizé. I am an XDI, so I'm Adobe XD instructor. I also teach at General Assembly and I mentor at Springboard. I'm a UX instructor and I'm a content creator. I create funny, goofy, educational UX videos on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So feel free to follow me if you'd like. I also have my email here. I shared yesterday a link with all of the images, the screenshots of Doordash and the sketches of my sketches, basically. I'm going to send that, put that in the chat again today for you guys. And if you guys are designing with me in real time, if you're designing after this, please feel free to send me your designs and I'm happy to give you feedback. And also, if you have any questions at all, feel free to message me. I'm here for you. So what we are working on, so this is just going to do, I'm just doing a little recap from yesterday. We're designing a new feature for Doordash. And the feature that we decided on creating was being able to gift somebody else a food or beverage. So if someone did something really nice for you, you can just send them a latte or a cinnamon bun or something that they really enjoy. And the focus for yesterday and today is working within the constraints of an existing app, because oftentimes when you're starting a new job, they already have a product. You might be working on a new feature or on an existing feature. So working within that constraint, thinking a lot about strategy, so business goals, user goals, and combining those in the design. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And process, not just going straight from idea to high fidelity. We're doing user flows, sketching, wireframes, high fidelity, prototyping, etc. So the full process. All right, so let's see, before I get into what the day looks like, Jack says, hello, Jack. Varun, it's your first day. Well, welcome. I'm going over what we went over yesterday, so you shall be totally good. Yeah, so yesterday we went over some basics. So if this was your first time using XD, I went over some of the shortcuts you can use, how to create shapes, artboards, etc. We did a customer journey map, user flows, sketches, wireframes, and started high fidelity. Today we're going to continue on with the high fidelity, going into prototyping and talking a little bit about sharing and how we would share our prototype to get user tests going on with it. So that's what we went over. And like I said, we wanted to focus a lot on strategy. Oftentimes, beginning designers don't put the business goals in your case study. So this is a very important aspect. Every time I've done any interview, when I've interviewed someone or I've been interviewed, what were the business goals? What were your KPIs, your key performing indicators? How did you meet? How did you know whether your project was successful or not? And you measure against those business goals. So the business goal, this is one I created for Doordash. It's not really from them. So the business goal for DoorDash is they want to increase the engagement from inactive or infrequent users. So people on DoorDash, they might download it, they use it a couple times, but they're not really utilizing it very frequently. So DoorDash wants to increase the engagement from these users. The solution that we came up with is based off of that business goal as well as understanding our target user. Now, again, this is just based on assumptions. This is what we call a proto-persona. It's not one that's based on any validation and research. So this is just an assumption for now, and that's totally okay to start with. And our persona is Sarah. She just moved into a new place, and her neighbor did something really neighborly for her and helped take in her packages while she was away on vacation. And she wants to give her a little something. She wants to send her a little treat through DoorDash. So that is the solution that we came up with. Now, I want to know from your guys' perspective, would you ever want to send someone like a little token of appreciation, a little latte, a little dessert, a little something, someone do something nice to you within the last few months or a year that you would want to use this for? Let's think about that a little bit, because maybe this is my user research right now. Would someone want to use this feature? For me, I'm actually used a lot of myself with Sarah. I just moved into a new place and my neighbor just took in my packages while I was away on vacation, and then she handed them to me and I never met her, and I was like, that's such a sweet thing to do. And I had been feeling so guilty because we got a new puppy and he's just barking all the time. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for my neighbor. So anyways, I would love to send her a cinnamon bun just as a nice thank you to feel close to my community. All right, Amy says she's just jumping on today. Yeah, no worries. Well, welcome, Amy. Hello, Vitor. And it's totally okay if you're just jumping in today. I went over a little bit recap of some of the research and some of the initial parts of the process. Now I'm going to go into the second part, which is I created sketches based on my flows. And if you don't know what a flow is, let's just talk about it for 30 seconds here. I put my flows in Miro.com. So I wanted to first understand what is the current flow for DoorDash. This is what it looks like. And then I wanted to make sure I didn't break that flow that much because I want to work within the constraints of the current app and the current flow and the current UI structure. So I created my own flows. So this is really every step a user is taking to accomplish their goal on the app. And in this case, their goal is to send a gift to somebody else. And I thought about it in two ways. I thought about you can go through the flow like a regular checkout flow, and then you can just send to a friend, right? You just add it to your cart and send to a friend, like an Amazon experience. Or an alternative flow, more like a registry, where you look at someone's account and you see, oh, this is these are the baby gifts that they want, sort of a thing. Instead, you're saying these are their favorite foods and so forth, and then I can send that way. So those were the two flows that I was working off of. Okay, so then I went into my sketches, and then we started going into wireframing. We already started high fidelity for a few of these screens here. So you can search for a user, you can see what their favorite items are, what they recently ordered, and you can say, oh wow, Peggy, my neighbor, loves cinnamon buns. Let me send her one. Awesome. And then you just check out and you can add a little special note to her and say, thanks so much for picking up my packages last week. I really appreciate it. And there you go. And then you got a friendly neighbor that's a new friend. That's the recap. We started to go into two screens of high fidelity. We're going to continue on. This is going to be very collaborative. Tim says, why would you send one cinnamon bun when you could send two cinnamon buns? Well, it depends on how awesome your neighbor is. Maybe you're going to send two. Sean says, to be honest, sending food is weird to me. I send wine though. Nice. Well, you're a nice neighbor too. You can totally send wine. Maybe if DoorDash can start to go that route. I think I have a big fascination and love for coffees, bobas, and little desserts. So if someone were to send me a coffee in the middle of my day, I'd be like, oh my God, you're the person ever. Because I think about it all the time, all day, like, should I get a coffee? Should I get a coffee? Do I want a little dessert? So maybe I'm, this is totally just for me then, maybe. Anybody else? Jack says he loves it. He sent donuts to his friends during the lockdown. Oh, Jack, you're so nice. That's so sweet. Hi, Sheila. Good to see you, Sheila. And hello, Amit. All right, let's get started into high fidelity. Yesterday, we did this little advertisement of basically advertising this new feature. We very much just mocked of the same sort of design that they have already in their current platform. Again, trying to work within their constraints. So we started to input some text, say thanks, send food or beverage as a thank you, send a gift to somebody special. And we had not put in any images yet, so we can start to work on that in a little bit. That's kind of like the last touch I would want to do in here. I also found that there's another advertising style too. So we can play around with more of this later. To me, this is like icing on the cake, the final little images for an ad and stuff like that. So that's why I don't want to focus that much on it. I want to get to the meat of the UI. And then yesterday we started doing some fields. We got the call to action, big old red button in there. And we have the results here as well. So here are the people, here are potentially her neighbors that she wants to select. And actually what I remember is we decided as a group that we do not like these little lines that separate each person because it looked too much like the fields, which I agree with. So yes, please collaborate with me. I'm trying to get as much feedback from you to design with you. And so let's get on to high fidelity for this next screen. Now, I always start designing from top to bottom. I mean, it's pretty common probably. And here we have the title. And I just want to make sure that this title is this H3? No, it's our H2. Okay, yeah, that works. Cool. And before I get started, I am going to just actually send you guys the link to my sketches and Doordash. Let me get this little link for you guys. And I'm putting it in the chat. So if you want to design with me in real time now or later, please feel free to start working away with me. And I will review your designs later if you want to send it over. Okay. So sending a gift to Peggy Sue. Isn't that such a funny name? Maybe, does anyone know a Peggy Sue? I don't know. I don't know why I came up with that name right now. And then we want a picture of her. Which one is Peggy Sue going to be? I guess it'll be this one. I'm just going to, so when I want to copy and paste something that I'm already using, I just go into this layer and I just keep double clicking to get into the layer, or I'm going to go into the layers panel, which is the second one on the bottom over here on the left side. This is my layers panel. And I can see that there's the one I've selected, ellipse 1, that's highlighted here. That's the one I want. And I'm just going to Command C, I'm just going to copy it. Then I'm going to go into this screen and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get it into this layer either by double clicking to get into it or by going into my layers panel and selecting that layer. And then I'm going to do Option Command V, at least that's for Macs, to paste it in. Okay, this is one I use all the time. This is a little shortcut I use all the time. So I would recommend it Command C, Option Command V to paste it in. Sorry that I do not have, maybe if this is not the same as PC, but if someone knows the shortcut to that, let us all know. Let us all know. Raphael asks, did you screenshot the app from your phone? Yes, I screenshotted the app straight from my phone, which is an Android. Yeah, so this screen actually is straight up a screenshot. Just the thing on top is the new design because I didn't want to have to recreate this. There was no reason to. But these are not screenshots here. These are working from wireframes. Cool. Jack, that's your sister's name? Peggy Sue? Really? What? I don't believe you, is it? Okay. Raphael says Control Alt B on Windows. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. All right, so then let me grab Peggy Sue's name. Again, just double clicking to get into that group. And I see that it's selected, and I just want to make sure this is my H3. Okay, so I got my H2, I got my H3. And then here I haven't created a style for, I hadn't created a character style for this yet. So I'm going to create one. Do I want a 12? It's a bit small here. So I'm going to make it a 4. What's my H3? So my H3 is a 14, which I think is a tad small. But I'm gonna leave it for now and just leave my body. This is font that I'm gonna make my body. So how I can create a character style, if you were not with me yesterday, is you can just select this, right? This font here, make sure that it's selected, double click to get in there again. And then you click this little plus button next to character styles. There we go. And then I just double click it to label it. I'm labeling this body. Around 14 to 16 is good for a body on mobile, and honestly for desktop as well. So I'm gonna keep that as is. And I can always adjust these later. I'm not gonna spend so much time on it right now as I'm going through this first pass. But that's why I'm creating character styles, because if I want to change all my H2 fonts later on, I just need to click edit and make it red or pink. As you can see here, I can change the sizing, I can change the font style across all of my screens. So that's why I'm not worrying so much about it right now. Let's get into making these little filters look more like the actual filters they use in the app. Again, trying to work within the constraints. I really recommend creating new features or updating a current app or current product for your case studies, because you can start to learn about UI consistency within other apps. It's a great way to do that. Also, those types of case studies are paid special attention to on Medium and stuff like redesigning DoorDash, redesigning Amazon. I've seen that those get more hits. All right, let's get into changing these little filters. I made these components. So you're gonna see that this component and these components are all connected. So if I change something to this font, I'm gonna change this font. You see how they all changed? Awesome. The outer layer here, the outline, the border over here on the right-hand side, in my contextual menu here, or my property inspectors, what they call it in XD, I'm gonna change the border to, let's say, I wanna get close to this border as possible. I'm just gonna use my little eyedropper and get in there. Cool. So now it's the same color, but you see that it's very sharp edges, right? And this example is very round. So I'm just going to double click to get in there, and you see that there's these little circles on the inside of each corner. I'm just gonna drag them inwards, and there, boom. There, it looks pretty much like the same shape over here on this side, okay? One thing I'm noticing is that in their filters, you see how that in the content in here makes this button larger, and the content in here makes this button a little bit smaller, and this one a little bit smaller. So it's being aware, the padding is being aware of the content inside. And there is a feature in XD that allows you to be aware of content inside. So let's say we wanted all of our buttons to have, let's say 17, let's say we're gonna do 17 on each side. Okay. So how I'm able to see the pixels on Mac is I can grab this layer and I do Option on Macs, and to see the pixels. So you can see it's 17 on this side, 18 on the right, 5 from the top, 4 on the bottom. This is something I use all the time. When we talk about pixel perfect designs, we want to understand the pixels. So I'm doing this all the time. I'm trying to see the measurements here. So I want it to be consistent from the top and bottom. So it was 5 at the top. So I'm going to make this 5 from the top and 5 from the bottom. And then I'm going to go over here, and then I'm just going to bring this in a little bit. So now it's 17 from the side and 17 from the side. Great. This is the same padding I want to have consistently. Okay. Now to have this be consistent throughout every single component, these components as well, I'm going to turn on padding. You've never heard of it. It's over here on the right hand side. Everything that you want to do pretty much to adjust a layer is over here on the right hand side. And I'm going to click padding. And so you see here, it says 517, 517. It says, do you want to keep this padding consistently, these numbers? And I'm going to say, yes, that's great. So now you see the rest of my designs have now adjusted, where now this is 17 and this is 5 from the bottom. Now these are all adjusted. Awesome. Now these look like they have maybe like a 10 or like 8, maybe padding in between each one. Cool. So now we just created these components with padding. All right, I'm gonna look at some of your comments here. Android phone and Mac computer. Yes, William. I went from iPhone to Android maybe 8 months ago because I wanted to be able to design for both iPhone and Android and to be really familiar with both. And so that's why I made the switch. But honestly, I'm like, I can't wait to go back to iPhone. All right. Any other questions here? It's totally my sister's name. She hates when people sing that Peggy Sue song. I don't know the Peggy Sue song. Maybe I've heard it and that's what made me put the name Peggy Sue. But maybe you should send in the chat what the Peggy Sue song is. Raphael says he read a case study a few months ago about Doordash. Ironically, it's about improving Doordash's item customization. Cool. Tim says, yay, pill buttons. Cool. Yeah. So I'm going to just make a couple more of these guys because it seems like, you know, they kind of run off the page here. I'm going to put in now $15 to $20. And you see how how it's adjusting to the content inside, right? It's very aware of the content. Cool. Got those guys in. Now I did not put in my little gutters here. So I'm gonna put in my little gutters here on the right and left side. This is where I just want to make sure all of my content doesn't go past this and aligns to it. I'm just gonna take these guys and drag it over. Cool. Now let's move on to the next section where it's this little scrollable area with favorite items recently ordered. There was somebody, I believe her name was Haley, yesterday, messaged me on Instagram after the session, was like, hey, I think it'd be really nice if there was also a wish list, like if Peggy Sue could create a wish list. Now this is probably something I would do in a 2.0 version where maybe we're like, yeah, this feature is doing really awesome. Now let's get people to start creating their own wish lists of things they want, not just based on what I've recently ordered or my favorited items under $10. But I do think it's a great idea and it's more of that registry experience. And I think let's totally add it for this one because guess what? We're not launching this. So we don't need to worry about next phases and stuff like that. So I am going to just bring these down and add a new one here, which is going to be called wish list. Peggy's, oh, all caps, okay. Peggy's wish list. So great idea there. If you guys have any other ideas as I'm designing that you're like, I want to see this, or this would be a good feature, or I don't like this, let me know. It's for us to design. That's why we're doing it live in real time, because we can chat with each other. We can connect and design and have fun together. Alrighty. Sheila says, I was about to say, and Elizé fell in love with Android phones and gets excited, but no, she can't wait to go back. Yeah, I can't wait to go back. Honestly, it's because I create so many videos on my phone, and it's really hard to just easily, there's no AirDrop to my computer. So that's like honestly the #1 thing. The Android camera is so good. People message me all the time like, what camera are you using? I'm like, my phone. They're like, what? That depth of field, girl. I'm like, I know. That Android. Cool. So then let's see, is this, let's look at the examples that they have for their titling of sections. Here we go. So we've all kind of remarked yesterday that their font styles are quite large. So look how large these are. It says quick bites and meals. That's a big guy. And look how small mine is. Doo-doo-doo. So let's change that. Let's make this, is it an H2? That looks almost about right. I'm just gonna like bring this over here and see how it measures up. No, it needs to be bigger. Whoa. All right. That's the H2, right? Maybe bigger than that. I know it's probably hard for you to see what I'm doing here because it's black on black here. All right, that's about the size. So it's a 25 font. So let me make this one a 25 font. Okay. Now I don't know what to title this one. I guess it's this is the new H3. Bring it over here. H3, and I'm gonna relabel this one H4. Oh wait, no, maybe this is the new H2. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay. I'm just messing around with fonts and labeling them. It's kind of like the least sexiest, least fun part of it all. Cool. So now we have this title, and then we're gonna have some image. They are using images that are with a white background, and usually their food has some sort of shadow. Now we're not gonna be doing some extensive Photoshop or anything today. We're just gonna be working in XD. So let's see if we can find images that match this style. Anybody have any suggestions for what should be on Pecky's wish list or favorite items? Let's just name some foods so that I can just drag and drop them in from a Google search and I don't have to think too hard about it. Maybe I can get your guys' help here. So let me get into my Googles. And I remember yesterday someone wanted pumpkin spice latte as something in here, and let's see if there's either a transparent background or a white background. Here we go. All right, so I have a couple options. I can either right click and copy the image. I'm going to show you that for this one, and then I'm going to get into this image here, and then remember the shortcut, I did Shift Command V to get right in there, and there it is. Now obviously I don't like this rectangle, that makes it look wonky. I don't know if that's a word. And then I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller and put it inside there. There we go. There's our first item. Anybody have any suggestions? Haley Wang said, hi, thanks for bringing up my suggestion. Definitely agree with you. It should come in the next phase. Learn something new today. Yeah. Raphael says, do you usually create character styles once you do it in the actual design like you're doing now, or do them in advance before the design? I usually do them as I'm designing because it's hard for me to get a feel until I'm actually designing and putting it with the other words and the other images to get a feel for the sizing. Because a size 15 font in one font style is totally different than a different one. So if I'm using Montserrat versus Open Sans, 15 is going to look different. So I want to lay it out on the page and get a feel for it in the first few screens as I'm creating my sizes. But everyone's different. So, you know, do what feels good for you. All right, let's see. We got some cinnamon buns and some macaroons. Okay, thanks, Tim. Let's look at some macaroons. Honestly, I don't know if I like macaroons. I've tried them. I've only had one type of macaroon that I've liked. I know, it's kind of crazy. Which macaroon image do we like? This one? Fine. It works. So the other way I can bring in an image or drag in an image, it might be hard with this repeat grid though. Let's see. Just drag it in. There it goes. Woo. Yep, no worries. Actually, it worked perfectly. So here we go. Just dragged that puppy right in. Macaroon. Pumpkin spiced latte. All right. That is going into... Okay. Do you guys ever have a song stuck in your head and it just plays over and over as you're designing? I'm like, and then you don't know the lyrics. And you're like, da, 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 da. All right. Okay. So let's see. Anybody else have any suggestions for food? Come on. Picking any food is so easy. We got cinnamon buns that we're going to work with. Come on, give me some other ones. Cinnamon roll. Ooh, this is gonna make me hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm like, this does look good. Oh my gosh, here's 2 cinnamon rolls. Just like Tim wanted. I found it. I found the 2 cinnamon rolls. All right, let's see. I'm gonna grab that image and then I'm gonna drag the little cinnamon buns in there. Look how cute they are. Oh, it's not completely white background. Wah, wah, wah. Let's see, let me just grab this guy. It looks pretty white. So no 2 cinnamon rolls. Oh wait, that has a, oh my goodness. Do I need to just type in white background? Let's see how that goes. Da, 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 da. All right, there we go. Now instead of 2, you get like a half dozen of cinnamon rolls. Whee! Cool. Chocolate dipped fruits. That's amazing. Yes, let me look up from that. Arkar, you are from Myanmar. I've been to Myanmar. I spent a whole month in Myanmar and I absolutely loved it. So thanks for joining. And I'm excited because it makes me think about my Myanmar stories of being on the side of the road and eating on tiny little pink chairs and eating like the best food and enjoying that. Tim says I have to try the macaroons from Paris. Okay, I believe you on that. I'm sure they can do no wrong. Add more shadows to pop and a muffin. I'm not going to do shadows right now because I feel like that's going to take me into getting into some Photoshop and into more visual design. And we have so many images, like I just can't. So, but I suggest that you go and design some of these screens because I added my sketches for you guys, and then do some shadows, and then I can paste them into my design, or you can show me your design, and I'm happy to work together like that. Okay, muffins. Let's get into muffins. We do have some shadow on each of ours, so that at least we got, I'm trying to work with some shadows. Here we go, we got some chocolate muffins. Chocolate muffins in the house. And honestly, like, I'm just gonna do away with these for now and just recreate this same one because we already made a lot of the appropriate changes. So copying that, going into this, Shift Command V to paste that guy in there. Oh, it brings in that border. Yeah, not fun. All right, muffins. Thank you for that. Is it just me or is Peggy Sue a sweet tooth? Yeah, you guys are the ones giving me all desserts. You guys can give me a little other suggestions for what she likes. Okay, chocolate dipped fruits. That's gonna be fun. I'm liking Tim's suggestions here because I've never looked at this kind of stuff up before. Chocolate dipped fruits. What do we see? Oh, we're gonna go with basic strawberry. Is there some other type of fruit that is chocolate dipped? That looks good. What do you guys think about dragging and dropping into in Adobe XD like this? Isn't it just like the best? It's like my favorite thing to do. You get one chocolate strawberry. We're not gonna get picky today because we are just gonna try to move through these quickly. We're just gonna do another couple here. You're missing the fests? Oh no. Indian menu. Yeah, let's get some Indian food. Have you been to Bagan? Yes, I went to Bagan on my trip for sure. I spent a whole month, so I traveled all around Myanmar. And I also did a 14-day. Oh yeah, I did do 14 days. I spent more than a month. I spent 14 days doing a meditation retreat there. The first time I ever did one, Vipassana meditation retreat. We are now looking for Indian food. What Indian food? Like some naan? She wants some naan. She just loves to order naan every once in a while. Just naan by itself. Naan. Cool. And then we have our last group here, which is going to be recently ordered. Anybody? Final suggestions? How long did it, so someone asked, how long did it take for me to get comfortable with XD? I did one full XD project. That was like maybe a month-long project. And after that, I was like, I'm golden, feels good. And I haven't gone back. I used to use Sketch. And I have not used Sketch since. Let's think about some random things now, because yeah, let's think about, I like lattes always, so I'm just gonna do more iced coffee. Anything else Peggy Sue likes? Here we go, dropping that guy. Iced coffee. What is something that you would love to be ordered to your house? Like maybe right now or today. For me, it would be a Phil's coffee. I wonder if I could find that. Obviously, you guys know that I'm like really into coffee right now. A Phil's latte. They have a ginger spice latte that is delicious. And it's so heavy in sweetness and sugar and cream, and it's so bad. They have no white background, so I'm just gonna break it by just putting in this guy because I just love it so much. Did I just break the design? Should I not have done that? What else would you guys like to order? Escargot, sesame chicken. Okay. Sesame chicken. Ooh. Yummy. Giving me ideas for lunch. I'm just going to start using stock because we are running out of time for these. I ruined it, huh, with this Phil's coffee. I'm going to replace it. Someone says Malai Kuta, but I don't know what that is, so let's search it. Ooh. Oh, yum. That looks really good. Super yummy. Okay, let's place that guy in there. Guess I'll replace my fills. Oh, that looks terrible in there too because of the background. There's no white backgrounds for this either. Oh well. Doesn't have to be perfect for now. But if this were the real thing, I would make sure all the images have a white background and all the food has some sort of shadow like this, right? There's some consistency there. We started to get inconsistent because you know what? We ain't got time for it right now. Let's move on. All right, so what I want to show you is a another feature. So if I wanted to have Peggy's wish list, like, oh, I don't know if that should be first. I want favorite items to be first. And I just want to be able to switch these guys around. I would have to go like this, and then I have to drag this over here, and then I have to get the spacing right again, right? So instead there is a new feature that came out with XD, where if I grab this group and this group and this group, so I grabbed them all, so I just shift and grab these all, and then I'm gonna make them a group. So I can do that either by selecting Command G or right clicking, and then I can do the same thing as make a group. Okay, or ungroup, right? All there. So here, this is a group, and now I can turn on stacks. This is the other feature that I was showing you padding a little bit ago. Now I'm going to show you stacks right here, right above it. I'm going to turn that on, and it's already saying, yeah, do you want to do stacks up vertically or horizontally, basically, right? So I'm going to do vertically. What that means is, so if I just want to grab this group and I'm like, if I want to grab this group and I want to switch it here, it's just automatically adjusting, right? Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. So just vertically it's adjusting. Cool. So we'll just leave it like that. I want to actually keep it as it was because it starts to get not as cute down below. So I'm going to keep those ones down there. All right. Then I'm going to just drag this guy to here. That's this to the height of the screen. All right, we got that screen done. Cool, right? That was it? That was everything? Yes. I just didn't change all the names, which is fine, or the numbers. We'll just leave it like this for now. Okay. Tim says, man, if only Adobe had a stock image service. Yeah, I like Google searches because I can get to get my like Starbucks, my like pumpkin spice latte stuff. You can't find all of that stuff through XD as far as like this specifically goes. I could find muffins on stock for sure. But I like to, you know, bring in my Phil's coffee and my Starbucks in this example. Okay. Now let's move on to the next screen here. So I think it was Laura suggested that we are going to go with the pumpkin spice latte as the choice for Peggy Sue. And I am just going to bring in the title here into, now remember how large this was yesterday? We were like, this is so large for the text at the title here. Whoa, but you know what? That's their sizing, so we're gonna work with it. Looks like the spacing though, I might have a little bit too much spacing, line space. So let's turn that into that. Okay. Let me just bring in my little gutters here. So this is 16 here. And 16 on the other side. Cool. So let's just bring this guy. Have it touch that. And touch that. Okay, so I got my heading. Do I want to put the calories? I guess we have to, huh? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about how many calories I drink in my lattes. It's probably about 400 calories. This looks like it's using the darker gray. Cool. And oh, there are Starbucks images in Adobe stock. Oh, okay. Well, then you proved me wrong. Cool. So then let's see. My country does not have McDonald's, and you're making me miss my student life in Singapore. Oh, I'm sorry. I like how you guys are now talking about food. Yes. I know. I have not had breakfast. Let me have a sip of my tea, though. Let me just take a second. I'm drinking a jasmine tea with milk. I'm trying to lay off the coffee with my tea. Are any of you guys coffee drinkers? Are you tea drinkers? Okay, so let's move on to this design is different than the one they have here because we don't need to put in whether it's a grande or a venti, like the sizing of the latte or any of the other preferences because this should already be what Peggy likes, and us as the one who's giving it to her, we probably don't want to mess with her preferences. Now, I had put this little checkbox saying all preferences are applied so that the person sending this latte doesn't have to worry about it. But I don't know, what do you guys think? I've kind of questioned it. I put it in there in the sketch, but I was like, maybe when looking at it today, I'm like, maybe we should still have the names of, the preferences that she has chosen, like grande with whipped cream, extra shot, or whatever it is. Or maybe we should have those be options. So let me give you guys a couple options here. So we can go with choice A, and this is like we want to understand from a user's perspective, what would they want to see? Why and why? Why would it matter to the person who is sending it? Do they care to see the preferences that are selected? So we can do something like grande. Maybe I would title it like preferences. It would be like grande. Oh my gosh, I'm having trouble typing. With whipped cream, something like that. Or we can lay it out like this, where we have the options, but they're already selected, like with whipped, and it could say something like at the top, preferences are applied. And we can have them pre-selected for them. Now this is obviously more like in line with what their current design is like. But so these are the, I don't know, thinking about these three options, want your vote for it. This is A, this is B, this is C, A, B, or C. Do you think A, we should just say all preferences are applied? B, just say preferences with them listed, not being able to make them editable? Or C, we can edit them if we want to, but they're already pre-selected with what that user wanted. What do you guys think is the best user experience? Aditya said, maybe there should be some option to change the preferences. So you do think there should be an option to change the preferences as the sender. And why do you think that should be? Do you think that, I would want to know that use case. It's a good idea, but why? That's what we want to know. Let me know what you think. Laura says, hello, everyone, and says hello to me. And Jack says, hey, back. Cool. Tim says B. Okay. And Aditya says B. Arkar says customization is better. Okay. Okay, so we're getting some B options. Alrighty. Let's go that route. Maybe there's like what we could do is have it like this, and then there could be an edit button if you really want to edit it for that person. You're like, you know what, girl, you shouldn't be having whipped cream anymore. Peggy Sue, I'm gonna like take that off of it for you, and I'm gonna get you a tall, even though you normally like grande. So we could still do that. Let's do that. All right. So let's do, where is, they do not actually do the price here. It's only down below here. So I'm going to remove the price. Ours is a little bit different where this person's main screen, when they go back after they added something to their cart, is going to go back to the restaurant. So they don't need to have the restaurant name here. But because they're going straight in from this screen, we do want to have the restaurant name. All right, so I'm going to put in restaurant name, which is Starbucks, obviously. Now, let me see if there's some examples on other screens of what this could look like. I think I'm just going to make it small, keep it small. It's a little tighter. And am I going to keep it the body, or should I do the H3? I'm just going to keep it as body for now. And then we have the delivery fee. I'm going to put in, I feel like I should put in the price because we do want to put in the delivery fee in this example more than we would in here, because again, this is typically, once you add to cart, you're just going to go straight back to their main restaurant menu. They're assuming you're going to want to order more than one thing. Our flow is really with the understanding that you probably just want to send somebody one thing from a restaurant. You're not going to send them one thing from Starbucks and then one macaroon. Probably, right? That's not going to be the most likely use case. It's the idea of sending one gift to one person. So we probably want to have the delivery fee and the cost up front for them so they understand the full total here, because they're going to check out straight from this screen and not go back to the restaurant screen. Okay, so then I'm going to put in preferences. Now it looks like their preference type of text is all caps, so I'm going to just do the same one but in caps. And I am going to, oh wow, their body font is quite larger. Is this their body? At least the font size for their preferences. It's like an 18, okay. I'm gonna make this an 18. And then I'm gonna just do the little edit symbol. And I'm going into my icons for design plugin, and I'm looking for an edit button, and I'm gonna look for one that's similar to what they already have if they have an edit button. We may not see it on these screens. I don't see it. Oh, no, nope. Okay, so we'll just make our own for now. Let's do the little, I like this will do. Oops, it went on that screen. All right, so I'm gonna bring this guy in over here. And I am going to change this to the gray color. And bring it over here. All right, let me look at your guys's. I see people saying, C is better, C! Why did you choose B, lady? Yeah, sorry, we went with B. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so what we do have is if you click edit, you'll go into this view here. So you see their preferences, and you can edit it and change it if you so choose, but we are gonna just say that we understand their preferences. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It's B and C put together. How about that? Okay, people change their minds all the time. I order the wrong stuff and forget and don't want to accidentally order wrong again. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you were here for this part, Amanda, but this is actually for somebody else. You're ordering a pumpkin spice latte for your neighbor, Peggy Sue. You already looked through her wish list and to see things that she likes, and she likes this pumpkin spice latte in a certain way. So you're submitting that because you probably wouldn't know what her preferences are. And that's why we have it in this format. But maybe you know Peggy Sue really well and you want to change her preferences, perhaps, then you can make that edit and change. So that's probably the reason why there might be some back and forths with this. Okay, cool. So now let's go into the other thing here is they have this like very light shade. I don't know if you can see it, very light background here. So I'm just gonna make R for rectangle to make this shape. Rectangle. And then I'm gonna get rid of that outline and I'm gonna want to put it in that same color as it is here. So I'm gonna go into my fill color, take my little eyedropper, and then just paste it in there. So you may not see it because it's such a light shade and it's so close to white, but we want to make sure we account for it. Now, this is obviously on top of my text, so I want to have it move behind. So I'm going to just drag it down for now. And I'm going to take this group here and I'm going to make it a group. And if you guys remember the shortcut, it's Command G. Command G for the shortcut. Okay. So then I'm just going to, for some reason this like edit button looks like too noticeable. I feel like something a bit lighter feels better because like edit me. And we want to make sure that things that, you know, most likely the case is you're not going to edit preferences for your friend's pumpkin spice latte. So we don't want to make it so prominent on the screen. What we want to have prominent is first the image, secondly the text, right? So, okay, this is right. These are Peggy's preferences here, cool. And then we want to obviously highlight the cost at the bottom here. So that is what we're going to obviously put that big red color button there, get rid of that border. And it looks like their button is a bit slimmer. And then let's see, I used this font. I'm gonna just put that in my character styles over here, this one, and I'm gonna title it button. And so that's gonna be my button font. Then I'm just gonna center it in the button. So how I center is I'll grab this and I will shift and grab the background. Then I'm gonna go all the way up here in the right-hand corner in my property inspector. And I'm just going to say align middle here, that second option to just get it aligned and then aligned in the center as well. I usually use those ones quite a lot. Okay, then I'm gonna bring this guy down, the $6. I'm going to make it also that same button font. And there we go. Yeah. So then if they click edit, they can be able to expand and see this view. If not, that is totally fine as well. Okay. Let's see, anyone have any comments on anything? B is also fine, says Chloe. All right, plus button if not added yet, minus button after adding because users might change their mind. Okay, cool, yeah. Sam says, hello everybody. Hi, Sam Peterson. We got some greetings from some people. Nice. All right, people are being nice to each other. That's awesome. Okay, so now we're moving on to our last screen here. I'm going to bring in this for visual reference. So we have this one, I believe is the H3, yes. Then we have this line. Let's see what color I made our lines. So it's 770. Okay, so it's this one with a 24%. So I'm gonna click this, put it at the 770 at 24%. There we go. Forgot if we already have a 21 font. Yeah, we do. It's our H3. Okay. So I'm going to make this one. It's our H3. Cool. And then we have one food item. Let's bring in our little gutters here. So we have a 16 on the left and a 16 on the right. Sometimes it's so hard to get like exact. I have to scroll. I mean, zoom in, zoom in. Here we go. Cool. So let me just drag these guys over. So this is our pumpkin spiced latte. It's $4. All the preferences are applied, sure. And it's Starbucks. All right, so this little rectangle looks like look off a little bit. There we go. Okay, so these are also the same little lines. So I'm going to give it the 770 and we're going to put it at 24%. So someone can write a note to their friend. So they're like, hey, I just ordered you this pumpkin spice latte. Why? So they're going to say, hey, Peggy Sue, or whatever in their note and say, thank you so much for taking in my packages the other day. I really appreciate it. And so then she can add that little note. We're not going to design that screen, but just imagine it, it's there. Okay, then we have the recipient information. I am just going to grab it from over here and bring it in here. Just make it a bit smaller because we don't need to see Peggy's face that big. And then we got the total. And then here we have, so promo code is in a similar fashion to this. I am just gonna remove this one and copy and paste this one and bring it down. Add promo. Oops, little arrow. Cool. We're getting down to the final wire, guys. How exciting. We're gonna start prototyping this. I think I'm gonna just take in this button and make it a component. So I'm gonna make it a component by doing Command K because I wanna reuse it down below in here so I don't have to remake this button. So I'm gonna just I made a component and then I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Oh my gosh. And I'm gonna paste it into here. There we go. And instead of saying add to cart, it's gonna say checkout. And let's see. Yep, that looks pretty good. All right, so there we go. There is our screens. We finished them, woohoo! And we're gonna get into, that was like a happy, ghouly, Halloweeny woohoo. And so now let's start to prototype it. I'm gonna bring in all the screens next to each other so it's just easier to prototype. And we're gonna do a really simple prototype initially, and then we're gonna start to make it more elaborate as time allows. Oh, here, we didn't do anything here for this advertisement. While I'm prototyping, anyone have ideas for what we should do in here? Do you think it should be like a dessert? Should it be like an image of people? What do you think it should be in this image? Like, Should it be one of those same, let's see, like, should it be a dessert? With a little transparent background. As a gift, like this flying flan or this, maybe this cheesecake. I'm gonna download this guy and see how that goes. So this is just for an example for now. Let's just drag in the cheesecake since we're trying to move fast and get into prototyping. Maybe it's just like, yeah, do you want to send this cheesecake to your friend because she's so awesome? Works for now. Or later on, let's try it. We can try out like an image of a person like delivering food to a friend, perhaps. That could work. Yeah, let's just leave this for now because I want to get into prototyping, but any ideas that you guys might have? Ooh, Raphael says food in a box, dessert gift, an illustration. Ooh, yeah. If anyone has an illustration they want to find online that could work, let me know. The only thing is like they don't do that much illustration outside of these images here, but otherwise like their platform doesn't look like it has that much illustration. So I don't know if I would pull in some unless it really matched this style here perhaps. But yeah, it seems like with their ads, they do mostly photography with food. But I mean, we could probably bring in some people here as well since it's about people. I like it. I like the gift idea too. Food in a box, food and a gift. Yes. Maybe if anyone has an image they can pull with a transparent background or an image and they want to paste it into the chat, I'm happy to plop that guy in. Let's move into then some prototyping. So to go into prototyping mode, I'm just going to go over here on the left-hand corner and go from design to prototype. Then from there, I am going to, I want to make this the clickable element. So they're going to go, yeah, I want to send a gift to someone. And then they're going to go into this screen. So now you see it has this like little blue arrow that's like, send me somewhere. Well, we're just going to drag it over into the screen. The screen highlights to let me know, yes, this is the screen it's going, and I could just release. Now over here on the right-hand side, I can start to make the changes that I want to make to this prototype link here, this wire. And so the trigger I want to keep as tap. So when you tap it, it goes into this screen. And it's just going to be a regular transition, no animations. We're not going to get fancy right now. And let's just leave those preferences as is. So now we should just be able to simply play it in prototype mode here. Here's the example. And if I select this, it should just be able to go into this screen. Now it has this weird wonky, like all these weird sides because I have not set in my vertical. So my vertical height is not at the right place. So this vertical height is at 690. And so I want to change this also to my vertical height as 690. So what does that mean? Well, it means that when I click into here, it has the right proportions. And so when I just need to be able to scroll down to be able to see the rest of the screen. So sometimes those little viewport heights get changed somehow when I'm designing. So you just have to make sure that you adjust them so they're all the same on every single screen. That happens quite often. Okay, now moving on from here, we would want to be able to click into the first name, last name, or phone number to move into the next screen. Now here, I'm going to come back to these to make them actually look clickable, like we actually filled them in, so for now, I'm just going to say when we click search, we're going to go into this screen. So back into prototype mode, search into this screen. Boom. Cool. I'm going to make these scrollable. So I want it so that when I click into here, I can just scroll side to side in here, right? I want to see these other items. So how I do that? First, I'm going to make this viewport the same. Which one? What was it? 690? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to make the viewport 690. Then I'm going to grab this layer. I'm going to go in my layers panel so you can see it. So it says repeat grid. This is my repeat grid layer. And I'm going to click up here in the right-hand corner. This is one of the best new features, the scroll groups, because it's easy peasy. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click this first one. It says horizontal scroll. Boom. And it already knows that I want to like have this be the window. I can make the window smaller or expand it, but I want to expand it all the way so it's right off the page, just like so. Perfect. Same thing goes with here, scroll groups. Same thing goes with this guy down below. I'm just gonna drag this over to here. Okay, so I just need to make this screen a little bit longer here. There we go. All right, so let's see how this works now. So when I play this, I should be able to just boop, 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 boop. So happy, yeah, so exciting. I love doing this. This was so awesome. And you could also do that same thing, like if we wanted to expand these, like if I wanted to make another one of these guys, I could do the same thing here. So I'm gonna drag these little filters, drag these. Oh, yeah, yay, it's starting to feel real. Woohoo. Okay, so then when I click into this Starbucks group, all of these to be a group. Okay. So when I click into the Starbucks group, I can then take this and I'm going to prototype mode and I'm going to drag it over into this screen here. Nice. Okay. Then from here, I'm going to drag add to cart and drag this little button over into this screen. Now it should have basic functionality. It's so easy to make this prototype, it's crazy. So I click into here, go into search. Oh, I'm a little dum-dum. Okay, so it's not actually search that we would go to. It's from Peggy Sue into this screen. But you know what? It's so easy to undo a prototype just like that. Just drag this over here. There we go. Now it should work. Oh, it should. Okay, here we go. So then I click Peggy Sue, and then I get to select the pumpkin spice latte she wants. Oh no, the viewport is not right. I didn't change it for all of them. 690, 690, and 690. So this little button actually should be higher up. Cool. Doesn't need to be that low anyway. Man, yesterday I did a binge watching of a whole show. I was so tired yesterday and I was feeling a little sick and I just binge watched a whole show yesterday and I'm not sure how I feel about it anymore. I'm like, man, I kind of feel like you're in a whole new world again when you watch a whole show and you come back out and you're like, whoa. It was called Broadchurch and it was like a murder mystery one too. Still feel like I'm was dreaming about it or something. Okay, so that should be good now. Let's try it again. Third time's a charm. Here we go. Send someone a gift. I pick Peggy Sue. I want to give her a pumpkin spice latte. Yes, that worked. I'm gonna add that to my cart and she's ready to check out. Boom, check out. She's done. Yay! All right, now let's get to some nitty-gritty details and start to make our prototype look even that much more real because it's pretty static at the moment. I'm gonna take a little moment to look at the chat. Renan says this feature is so good. Yay! I'm so happy. I'd use the whole area as a hit area. Yeah, so let's get into this screen. So what we have not created is we already have the results in this screen and we shouldn't have the results yet, right? She is just going to be at this point. She should be searching someone's first and last name. Now, if I want to make this I want to have the ability to make to have some text in here. Let's see if we can do this actually. Okay, yeah, so I want to have the text so that she has her Peggy Sue inside in the input here. So I'm going to click onto this first name and I'm going to make paste another version of it. So it just says same thing, first name, and then I'm gonna put Peggy. And then this is probably gonna be the regular body font, just like so. So now it's already filled in. But I wanna make sure that we have both a filled in version and an unfilled in version. So I'm going to make a new component state. This is a new thing that I'm showing you for this session, okay? So over here is the component. This is the main component. This is the master component. And on the right-hand side, over where it says component, main, and it has a default state, I'm gonna click the little plus button next to it to create a new state, which is gonna be unfilled. That's gonna be the new state I wanna create. Now all I gotta do is remove that, and now this is an unfilled state. And I can go back and forth to the filled or unfilled state. So I want this unfilled, I want this one unfilled, but now it went back to the default title, which was first name. So we just gotta change that. And then same thing here, unfilled. I need to change this to phone number. Now, something that I like to do is to make sure that our button, see it's a big red call to action button at this point, but it should not be enabled like this in bright red until the user has put in the mandatory fields. And for us, it's the mandatory fields is first and last name or phone number. So if she does either these two or this one, then this one will be enabled. Okay, this button will be enabled and she can actually search. If she doesn't and she just clicks search, well, what's gonna happen? Nothing, right? So we want it to be clear what are the mandatory fields by making this look not enabled initially. So I'm gonna create a new state. Okay. I'm gonna make this gray. And in fact, I'm gonna make it like a lighter, so it looks disabled. Okay, there we go. So now we have a disabled and now we have an enabled. So the last thing that we need to do is we created these two component styles, but now we need to make them clickable. We need to prototype it so that when someone clicks into this open text field, they'll be able to see the filled version, right? Then we need to go back into prototype mode. So it's saying, okay, you click, it's saying, I highlighted this component here, and I want to create an interaction. So I'm going to go over on the right-hand side. Everything's always over here on the right-hand side. And I'm going to create a little interaction. So I'm going to click this little plus button for interaction. So what it means is when I tap into this field, I want it to go into the default state. Okay. And then the same thing goes for the default state. When I tap it, I want it to go to the unfilled state. Okay, so now this, because I did it on the main component, the master component, the one that rules them all, okay, this is the main component, and I know it's the main component because it has a little green diamond on the left-hand corner when these ones have just a little white circle or green circle with white diamond, right? That's how I know this is the main component, the one that rules them all, so that's why it's reflecting on all of them. So now what should happen is when I go into play mode, when I click into it, it should say Peggy. Oh, that's not what I want to say, Peggy, Peggy. Let's go back into it. So the default state is Sue. Back to unfilled. You just need to like adjust these. Okay, now let's do it again. I'm just having to adjust these ones now that they've become back to the default state. Okay, so I'm gonna play it, and so it says Peggy, Sue, and then she should be able to now get into search. Okay, so for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make this button. This is sometimes the challenge with those components where I have the challenge with components where this is just a component on the screen that I can turn on and off. But if I want this button to be enabled when I select the last name, it's not possible to do that. So I need to create now a new screen here that has this highlighted. This button is now enabled. This might be going a little bit too deep in the woods here, but I already started, so let's get into it. Once this is enabled, I'm gonna actually now, instead of having when she clicks into here, it goes into the enabled state with Sue, I'm gonna have when she clicks into here, it's gonna go into this screen. This is how I'm gonna bypass this little issue. So I'm gonna go to prototype mode, and instead of having this tap feature, I'm gonna have it go into this screen. So now let's see if that works. So first name, last name, now it should just see how it enabled now. So now I put in her first and last name, good to go. Then we can go into search from there, okay? Which is gonna go here. This should all be pretty much good to go now. Let's see. So you go from here into the search mode, first name, last name. Now this is enabled. Now she knows she can search. And then she can see the results from here. She can select Peggy Sue. Uh-oh, what happened? Where'd my little prototype go? It went away. Okay, I'm just gonna make this whole section go over here. Okay, she selects Peggy Sue. She can scroll around and be able to see all the different food items or the little filters here. And then she can go into the option for pumpkin spice latte and be able to add it to her cart. And then she can check out from there. Boom, there we go. We got our, look, do you feel like, I know that the fonts are not everything's exactly like Doordash, but we got pretty close to the same look and feel. We used all the same field styling like in here. For the field inputs in here. Okay, looks pretty close to that. What to do? Let me see. I guess I don't have the best example of this screen yet, but this is the closest. So we have the same sort of scrolling menus like in here. All right, we have the checkout screen with the large image, large font with the add to cart, and then we have the checkout button. Let's see where that is. Okay. So it looks fairly close enough to pass. This would be totally great to have on your case study to talk about a new feature that you want to potentially change, add, remove, and improve for a current app. So this is something I highly suggest working around with current apps that already exist, because then you can start to get a look, to get a feel for typography, button styling, how to be consistent, and so forth, right? It's a really great way to study other people's designs, especially ones that are very well known, like the Ubers of the world and Lyft and Spotify's and stuff. Study what they do, what makes them work, what makes them good, and in order to improve upon your own UI design skills. So it's something that I can still continue to do. I've been doing for 5 years, and I still learn a lot from studying other people's designs. Just from doing it with you guys for the last 2 days has been really helpful in understanding UI. So hope you guys enjoyed this with me, and I hope you guys got into doing some design stuff yourself, and if not, I hope you guys get into it, working on your own potentially Doordash new feature, or working on the one that I did. And if you did, please share it with me. I'm going to send my email right now. You can send it straight to my email, Elizé@elizeux.com, or you can send it just to my, on any social media site, Elizé_UX. And I'd be happy to look at your work and give you feedback. All right, guys. Sorry if I didn't get a chance to comment back on all of your chats or anything like that at the end. I'm so sorry I didn't have a chance to, but feel free again to message me and comment or DM me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Hope you guys have a really good rest of your day or your evening, and I am going to see you guys hopefully soon on another Adobe Live challenge. All right, guys. Bye.